Well, let's get more on this now with oil and gas industry analyst Jonathan David Lamb. He joins us now from London. Really good to have you back with us, Jonathan. This decision by OPEC last week to drastically cut output by some 2 million barrels per day really took many by surprise. It's seen as one of the most dramatic decisions made by OPEC in recent history. Tell us what was behind that decision.
First of all, we need to remember that the quotas were cut by 2 million barrels per day, not the actual output. OPEC was producing below quota, and so the actual real cut is more like 700 or 800,000 barrels per day. I believe that the main reason that OPEC decided to cut at this time is that they have quite a bearish view on oil output, on oil demand, going forward. And they want to be a little bit proactive in making sure that oil prices don't fall. It's been seen, obviously, in some quarters as political, and maybe it is, but I suspect that the main driving force here is more commercial. They don't want lower oil prices.
Okay, and Jonathan, firstly, you've explained what the rationale might have been behind there. And earlier this year, we saw the US president and the French president as well essentially go to Saudi Arabia, cap in hand, urging those leaders, urging Mohammed bin Salman, the de facto leader, to really raise output because of its influence over OPEC. Why have those pleas fallen off on deaf ears, do you think?
I think that the Saudis are more interested in the income that they're getting at the moment rather than their relations with their partners and allies around the world. And it's probably partly driven by the fact that countries in the West have actually taken decisions that have reduced their ability to produce energy. And then when things go wrong, they come to the Middle East and say, please, can you bail us out? So, perhaps we've put OPEC plus and other energy producers in a stronger position.
Yes, and of course, this is happening against the backdrop of the conflict in Ukraine. Many countries have sought to restrict the import of Russian oil, so another key supply line there. Do you expect that perhaps the situation might improve in the near future, or will it only get worse from here?
Well, there's a risk that come the end of the year, when the European Union brings in hard sanctions on the use of Russian oil and Russian oil products, that the Russians may not be able to export all of that extra product because of supply chain logistics issues. Then if the world has less crude, we would expect crude oil prices to rise. I do think, though, that if crude oil prices rose above $100 per barrel, that maybe OPEC would be more amenable to perhaps reversing these quota cuts.
Okay, Jonathan David Lamb, we will have to leave it there, but we really appreciate your analysis as always. Thank you.